Megadoc is a behind-the-scenes documentary about the making of Francis Ford Coppola's 2024 film Megalopolis. Megadoc is directed by Mike Figgis, who has previously directed films such as Leaving Las Vegas, Internal Affairs, and Time Code. And Megadoc debuted at the 2025 Venice Film Festival and will be released in US cinemas starting in September 19. Megadoc is definitely one of the most entertaining films I've seen in 2025. Definitely one of my favorite films from this year. It's just so much going on in this film, so many layers, so many things I can talk about. I'll start off with the director, Mike Figgis. He kind of inserts himself as part of the film because of course, he's one of the, like everybody else, he's always admired Francis Ford Coppola as a director, and he's never been on the set of a film watching another director film a movie before. So this is a whole new experience for him. And so he takes us all on this journey, and he's a very celebrated director. As I said before, he's directed films such as Live in Las Vegas. He's directed other documentaries such as The Blues. He's had a decades-long career as a narrative film director. So to see his perspective in this film was definitely an added layer to the film, because he's kind of like choosing what can I film, how do I film this, do I just include the most controversial parts, or do I just include the fighting and the most sensational parts, or do I like it? So he's trying to find himself as a documentary filmmaker while filming this documentary. He was on the set from the very beginning, like even before they started filming. So he was there before some of the actors joined the crew, and he's there every step of the way. And it was so interesting to see his perspective. Like you can see when we first meet a lot of the main actors in the film, we see actors like Shia LaBeouf and Jon Voight and Aubrey Plaza. They're very candid, and they're very much focused of this film. They're very much in this film a lot. But a lot of the main actors like Adam Driver and Nathaniel Emmanuel, they are, you notice in the first hour of the film, they're not really part of this documentary, and you're thinking, why are they not a part of this documentary? And then the director, Mike Figgis, he reveals towards the end of the film that Adam Driver didn't really like the camera on him when he was filming, and then the actress Nathaniel Emmanuel, like her publicist, told Mike Figgis, she doesn't really like being filmed in certain aspects. So Mike didn't really feel comfortable filming her in any aspect. But Mike Figgis, he did get to have a nice interview with Adam Driver at the end of the film, and Adam Driver gave his perspective on the filming of his film. And Mike Figgis, he really didn't shy away from filming anything or showing anything in the film, and nothing was off limits. So you get to see fight arguments between Francis Ford Coppola and some of the actors like Shia LaBeouf and Jon Voight, and it's a very nice, interesting tidbit that Mike includes in the documentary. He includes how much it cost, every aspect of the filming, how much it cost to produce that part of the film. So say, for example, like the catering, the food budget, the catering budget in this film is on the bottom of the film, $1.2 million, and then the production design and the costumes and the special effects, and every part of the film is the budget of the particular budget of the film is shown on the bottom of the film. That was a very interesting part of the film. And for me, I really had no interest in seeing the film Megalopolis. The film was, I'm not the hugest like Francis Ford Coppola fan. I'm not like a diehard Coppola fan. Of course, I think his 70s films are fantastic, but I was never really dying to look forward to this Megalopolis film when it came out in 2024, because he hasn't really directed a great film in decades. So I wasn't really dying to see this film. And when it finally came out at the Cannes Film Festival and it got a theatrical release, the reception was not very good. So I just pretty much skipped this film because I wasn't really interested in seeing it. But when this film Megadoc got some rave reviews at the Venice Film Festival, I decided to finally watch Megalopolis, so I had some kind of context when I was watching this documentary, and I'm glad I watched the film. I didn't enjoy the film, but I found the film quite boring, but I did enjoy some of the performances in this film. Actually, I pretty much enjoyed all the performances in this film, and I think watching the film and watching the behind the scenes documentary, watching this film Megadoc, you can kind of see that what the actors and what Francis Ford Coppola were going for, even though. So I think acting wise, performance wise, I think all of the actors and Coppola's direction, they got the job done. But I just think that Coppola's vision of what he was trying to bring to the film just wasn't there at all. And as I said before, the director, Mike Figgis, he doesn't shy away from showing anything that happens in the film. Like there's people who leave the film or get fired, and you can kind of like it. I don't know why, but Coppola, he decides to hire a production designer. She was a production designer on the last Guardians of the Galaxy film, a Marvel film, and he waited for her to finish film because there was a conflict on filming between that film and filming of Megalopolis, and Coppola, he was kind to her to wait for her to finish filming that last Marvel movie, and then she went on to do Megalopolis after that. But halfway through the film, she ends up leaving the project because we actually get get to see a production meeting besides Coppola and a lot of the other producers and production designers and visual effects supervisors who are filming this movie, and that's a very interesting meeting that we get to see. And you can kind of see that Coppola, he's a very old school director. He's interested in practical effects, and it's not like he understands that CGI effects are part of the current process in filmmaking now. But I think he still treasures that real life visual component of the film, and there's a kind of and I think the production designer, she ends up leaving the project because you can see that at that part of the project where they've already spent millions and millions and maybe tens of millions of dollars already, that it's not possible to under budget because Coppola, he wants to have the film under $120 million, and the production designer at that point in the film is just like she admits in the film, if she knew the way that Coppola wanted to film the movie, if she knew that before going in, she would have done it a totally different way. But when you went halfway through the film, it's just not possible with the money that they had to go back and film, and the visual effects supervisors end up getting fired, and they had to rehire new ones, and that's, you can kind of see when you view the finished product that why the finished product didn't turn up to be so as great as Coppola intended. And the director, Mike Figgis, he's very candid about all of the actors in the film. As I said before, Aubrey Plaza, she's quite playful in the film, and she gets along with the director quite well, and Coppola really respects her, and we get to see like her kind of like audition tape, but she has a Zoom call with the director Coppola, and he asks her questions, and he asks her to act out different scenarios, and she admits in the film it was the most strangest Zoom call she's ever had, and we get to see, like, because this project Megalopolis has been in Coppola's brain for decades, we get to see like screen tests and audition tapes with many actors who never got to be in the film, such as like Billy Crudup and Ryan Gosling and Robert De Niro and so many different actors were in their screen tests and script readings, and that was an interesting part of the film. But there was one actor who was part of the 2001 screen test who ends up being in the final film, and he has quite a big role, and that is Giancarlo Esposito. He in the 2001 script reading, he has like long hair and he looks quite younger, but in this film he ends up being in the final part of the film as the mayor in the film. And it's so interesting to see all of the actors that end up being in the final film play with each other, like Shia LaBeouf and Aubrey Plaza and John Voight, and they all come across as quite likable, even though, like, irrespective of their politics, they all come across as normal actors, and they don't talk about their politics, that they just want to come together and make a great film. And it's interesting to see like Shia LaBeouf. He has a different acting style to what the Coppola wanted. Like Coppola gets frustrated with him several times in the film because Coppola just wants to Shia LaBeouf to stick to the script and do what is in the script, but Shia LaBeouf doesn't really sometimes doesn't understand what's going on. And like some people watching this film, I think, oh, Shia LaBeouf, he's crazy. But for me, I found his questions quite logical, and he wants to understand what's going on in his scene. And Coppola wasn't really delivering what he wanted, so there was quite a bit of conflict between Coppola and Shia LaBeouf. And we get to see Francis storm off the set several times in the film, and we get to see Coppola's wife, who passed away in 2024, but we get to see her a few times in the film. She's not really on the set because she's quite old. She was about 80 years old, but we get to see her visit the set a few times, and that's quite a touching moment in the film. I think the main reason why I like this film so much, why it's one of my favourite films of 2025, is because yes, the final film didn't really work for a lot of people. It did work for some people, but for me it didn't work, and for I think the majority of people, the film Megalopolis didn't work. But it's so inspiring to see Coppola with his own money. He's not spending anybody else's money. He's using his own money to film his vision that he's had in his head for decades. And we get to see other directors comment on his vision, like George Lucas and other directors comment on his vision. And it's so inspiring to see Francis just spend his money and have his vision and have his dream finally brought to life by there are many people who are involved in this process who don't really think they're making a good film, but Coppola's energy is so infectious that it just comes across to the viewer and watching this film. So even though the final film Megalopolis probably won't go down as a success, Coppola's an infectious energy throughout the film just comes across in the screen, and I found it very inspiring to watch, and I think that's the main reason why I love this film so much. I give Megadoc 4.5 stars out of 5. Megadoc is definitely one of my favorite films for 2025. It works on so many levels. It works as Coppola's dream project that finally comes to life, even though the final film wasn't very successful. It's so interesting to see the behind the scenes of everybody. Like, some people get fired and some people get dismissed and some people leave and some people cherish in these roles, and to see all the actors, even though they're all very, very different in acting styles and in backgrounds, they all come together to make a great film. And it's so inspiring to see everybody come together to try and make Coppola's vision to come to life. And it's just, film works on so many levels. It works on Mike Figgis as a director. How does he film this film, documentary? And it just works on so many levels. There's so many layers, and it's such a nerdy behind the scenes focus on the film Megalopolis. So if you're like a nerdy filmmaking guy or a person who loves the filmmaking process, I can't recommend this film enough. It just works on so many levels. So I definitely recommend this film Megadoc. Thanks for watching. What did you think of Megadoc? Please comment below what you thought of the film. See you next time. Bye.